Over the past decade, 200,000 children have been adopted from countries all over the world. Though many of them have shared very positive experiences, an introduction to a new culture can often leave them with many questions. Mainly, who am I? Mrs. Leanne Rutz was kind enough to share her experiences.
What's your name?
My name is Leanne Rutz. My maiden name was Block, however, with an H, hailing from my parents, my adopted parents' German heritage. My Korean name, however, was Arin Choi, and that name was given to me by the adoption agency that found me on the streets of Korea.
What were your original and adoptive cultures?
My original culture is Korean. As I said earlier, I was born in Korea, found abandoned on the streets of Seoul, Korea, by an adoption agency. I was a little bit less than 2 years old, and I was adopted by American parents, so my adoptive culture is American. The parents that adopted me were second-generation Germans. So in my upbringing, it was very Americanized, yet with very strong influences of their German heritage, their language, their foods, and a very strong influence of the German Lutheran Church.
Do you feel like you can identify with your original culture?
I don't really have any memory of my Korean culture or background, though I'm very aware of it. In some respects, it does creep into my experiences and my tastes, in that my younger sister and I, as I said, who is also adopted from Korea, we've come to love Korean food, even though we did not grow up with any Korean or even really authentic Asian food. So there is something in our genetic makeup, probably, that makes us enjoy and like the flavor of something so strange as kimchi, even though we never grew up eating it or learning to eat it or even knowing that it existed until our adult lives.
What would you like to share about your experience?
Well, first of all, that I had some really great adoptive parents. I was very lucky. They decided to not have more children, but to adopt, and to adopt internationally. They embarked on something that was kind of new and different. They reached out across the world and gave 2 strangers a home, ultimately. So part of my experience is that I'm very, very grateful to them. I feel very fortunate and blessed that they embarked on having an additional second family. As an adult, I now, have wanted for several years to plan a trip to go to Korea. My younger sister wants to go as well. I'm sure that we're going to do, and that will be very meaningful. I don't know what we'll find. I don't know how we'll feel about it. I don't know how we'll be welcomed, but I do know that it'll be something that will stick with us for the rest of our lives, and that will kind of close the chapter on what it's like to be a Korean or an Asian, hopefully, and give us some new insights into, who we are and why we are what we are.